Welcome to the Morning Update Show, and it is Friday, y'all. We're moving right through July. I'm your host, Trae Holidaay, and as always, you guys, you know our crew and our people have put together a great show for you. We're gonna get right into it. I gotta throw it over to my guy, Big O. What's up, Big O? Happy Friday, bro.
You threw it over, and I got my baseball mitt here ready to catch it.
There we go.
Opening day, man, for the Seattle Mariners. I know we talk about a lot of heavy stuff all the time, but if we can transfer it. Well, first of all, today's Feel Good Friday, and it hasn't felt good. It's felt funky for quite a while, and when our show first started, that was our big thing, was Feel Good Friday, and try to put some positivity back into the discussion, a little mix of Melanin magic. And I think that we have some of that near the end of our show.
You know, I'm excited.
But, most people know me, follow me. No, I'm a big Mariners fan. You know, it's crazy. This is 2020 it's something. So, it's opening day. They're only playing 60 games this season, all in empty stadiums. So, one of the biggest joys that I always had was going to the ballpark. You know what I'm saying? You got a picture up there? So let's see here. So this was a few years ago. It was me and my dad. It was on my birthday up there at Safeco. You know what I'm saying? So wishing the M's good luck. You know what I'm saying? Good luck this season. 60 games. I mean, man, that makes us contenders already. You know what I'm saying? We might be able to do something, man. What's up with you though, Trae?
Hey, I'm excited, man. Like you said, this week has been very up and down. So I'm happy that we made it through the end of the week. You know what I'm saying? A lot of positivity in the show today, and I'm happy to bring that to the people, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. Lots of news. Luckily for us, we got a news guy here. You know what I'm saying? We've got Marcus Harrison Green of the South Seattle Emerald. He's here. We're gonna chop up a few headlines of what's going on across the city and everything else. The mayor just ended a press conference here a little while ago. Mayor Durkin, Chief Best, Fire Chief Scoggins, talking about this weekend and this weekend's protest, the arrival of the feds on the ground, and some of everything else. I mean, it's a unique time in our city.
It really is, and I think a lot of people are, still have a lot of questions about how all of this is going to play out. I mean, we saw, the feds' presence in Portland. I think a lot of people are like, hey, what's going to happen here in Seattle? So, we'll see how this plays out, man.
Right. And, one of the questions that was brought up was, you work with a community organization that has some demands on the city, King County Equity now. A lot of people ask, why didn't you ask her about the demands? Well, we usually get the same answer out of City Hall about the demands. But as a community organization, I actually just tweeted out asking wherever you lie in the spectrum, you know what I'm saying, from organizations like King County Equity Now to different protest organizations, community groups. What do you feel the level of progress is being made by Mayor Durkin and City Council?
I think, again, there's a lot of stuff that needs to get upped on the transparency, in terms of open dialogue and really understanding what the city is doing to meet the demands. I think there's a lot of stuff possibly being done right now that's unbeknownst to these community groups and to community leaders across King County.
So you're saying that the mayor very well might be meeting with certain community people, but then other community people don't know. And so when she says that she's meeting with community, but the thing is this, I think that very well might be the case. Yeah. We can't say that it is or not. But it seems like until there's a consensus, so even if you meet, you make a deal with this group or that group, right now, I think that the issues that have people in the streets they're beyond a special interest of one group. I think it's, a coalition type thing. Yeah. So even if she's meeting with somebody and making a deal, if the coalition isn't accepting it.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what the new normal is about. It's about coalition style. And again, the old normal tactics was, let me meet with this one group who can bring all that to the rest of the community. And that doesn't work for community. We've seen that time and time again. And unfortunately, the interest groups that normally have, maybe the mayor's ear or feel like, they're getting in, they're not actually doing the major benefits for community. And that's one of the things that we want to uproot, when we talk about old normal stuff. So I'm really hoping that we can start to build a new normal that's really rooted in transparency when it comes from that office.
Right. Well, years ago, I think that tactic worked, in a lot of communities across America. If you could talk to, the head of this organization or this preacher or whatever, and be able to kind of get a lot of action around, get the community moving a lot of things. But I'll be honest with you, man, following this for 2 months, it's a lot of players, you know what I'm saying? I mean, most organizations are coming together underneath the broader issues, the broader issues that we hear with defund, money in the community and things like that. There's a lot of subset issues that are in there, though.
Yeah, there really is. And I think that that's where it's important in terms of community to have an understanding of what all of those are, because you don't really, you want to go with a unified front. And I know that that's what a lot of the people in community are talking about now is unity. And how do we get to that place of unity so that we can have a defined message? I think that what we've seen in our city is the emergence of those demands that a lot of people are okay, I understand that, we do need resources in community. Okay, if there's vacant land or unutilized land, if the community can have that, we can do something amazing with it. So these basic ideas are at least starting to resonate. We hope that starts to spread across, all of the leaders, so that everybody can kind of be unified.
Right. And, do you think that there is a cross-pollination between the different protest organizations and different protest groups? Real active on Twitter. So I was just reading here on Twitter. I didn't get a chance to respond because now we're on air. But one of the discussions was like, hey, you know what? The guys that are protesting in the north or in the south or whatever the city, they're aligned over here with a different group. Are different people so for King County Equity now, are you guys keeping up with the different people in the streets, different people leading protests, or dissemination of information and things like that?
I think that that's what we want more than anything. Again, as a coalition, there's a lot of groups that participate in various forms of protest. And that's one of the great things about the coalition. We can bring that information into kind of under the larger umbrella. But, a lot of people are doing things of their own volition. And, again, like we've even reported on this show, it's kind of, they have their own reason to protest, right? And so I think that there could be a better unifying of these ideas. But again, nobody wants to stop anyone from getting out there and protesting in the way they see fit,
All right, that's it. Well, we found out 1 week ago that this show just zooms by when Marcus Harrison Green is here, man. This guy likes to talk. Did he come dressed up today?
You know it, man.
That's South End casual, huh? What you be rocking?
Letting it be known.
All right, look, we're going to take a short break right now. When we come back, we're going to have the Friday headlines with Marcus Harrison Green of the South Seattle Emerald. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
There's a lot going on. Are you ready? Ready to feel better, look better, be better? Drink water. Be ready for a pickup game. Insta-frame to work hard towards your aim? Drink water. Hydrate. Hydrate to invest in yourself. Cut down on sugar. Invest in your health. Imagine the possibilities and reach your potential. Who knows what's next? Be ready, be hydrated.
welcome back to the Morning Update Show. My name is Omari Salisbury. You know, I'm joined by Marcus Harrison Green. He told me, he's like, man, you look like you need like 5 shots of coffee. So let me dig deep over here, man. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta get you some adrenaline or something, man. I mean, I'm just saying, bro, I think self-care is real, man. You know it out here.
Self-care is real. And, you know, a week ago, we thought we were going to have the weekend off. And then, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't look like the case.
Nah, man, there's no weekend off. We just gonna have to tag team or something, bro.
Man, it's a lot going on. So the big news right here in Seattle is the arrival of the feds.
Yes.
Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so last night, I believe it was Governor Inslee. He was the first one up. He said that he could confirm that federal government agents from the Department of Homeland Security have landed and have been sent here to Washington State. Now, nobody knows exactly where they went to in the state. We just know that they did land, and that was in conflict with what both Governor Inslee and Seattle Mayor Durkin said that the feds told them. They said that originally the feds told them, you know, nothing was going to go on. We obviously know that was not true. So we see that there is potentially some provocateurs coming over here from the federal government.
Man, well, so last night, you know, I was downtown and, you know, passed by the West Precinct again.
Right.
And, you know, they're still putting more ecology blocks up today. I think that they're going to build it.
It looks like a Lego set or something, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fortress being built around the West Precinct, literally.
Yeah.
But right across the street from the West Precinct, literally right across the street, is the federal courthouse. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, I mean, if these guys are here to protect federal property, you know what I'm saying, less than 100 feet from the West Precinct is the federal courthouse. Now, federal courthouse is survived the protests unscathed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and it's been through plenty of protests over the years since it was built. But do you think that maybe that building right there might be one of the buildings you're talking about when they say they want to protect federal property?
I mean, it could be. Honestly, at this point, nobody asked them to be here. So the fact that I think they're grasping at straws in terms of why exactly they are here. I mean, Mayor Durkin has already said that she didn't see them doing anything, or you know, there won't be any cooperation like there was with the Portland police a few weeks back. So we'll see. I mean, I think it's a very flimsy excuse to have them here.
Right. And you don't, the administration, I mean, basically the way that I read and everything is like you said, is that they're kind of here to observe and jump in if it gets funky.
Right. Though I will say, I mean, it's gotten real funky because of them, as we know, in Portland and other areas.
Somebody was saying that, you know, the Portland protest down there was like in the hundreds of people before. I think it was Dave Ross.
Right.
It was like it was hundreds of people before, and now it's like
it escalated, right, because of this issue. Yeah.
It's thousands. Well, you know, I think that the protests already bring in a culmination of different people, and I don't know if COVID's on our list here for today, but I know the Western Barricade. Mm-hmm. You know, quite a few people, not the majority or anything, but quite a few people were out there, man, just mad about what's going on in COVID and what's going on, you know, in the state and regulations. And now you got Governor Inslee talking about he's taking it all the way back for the most part.
Right. Well, it isn't just them getting mad about it. It's also the fact that our numbers have gone up. In the span of the 4 months when he first announced some of his mandate, it's gone from 2,000 people 4 months ago who were infected to 50,000 who are now infected in the state. That's over 1,500 deaths. And so he's saying that, look, there was an issue. We had an issue with this over in Yakima. Yakima was a huge hot spot. What happened? 85% of people started wearing masks. Those numbers started to drop and flatten. It looks like, from what the governor was saying, that South King County could potentially be another hotspot. Now, we know South King County is predominantly a lot of folks of color, and we know that Black and Latino folks have 3 times the chance of getting, 3 times, I should say, the likelihood of being infected by COVID and twice the likelihood of dying. So he's basically saying, like, look, at the end of the day, you need to wear your mask. And starting tomorrow, he's scaling back to the point where, like, even funerals, weddings, it drops to 30. Only 30 people can be at those particular events, are only 20% of capacity. And if you are going to a restaurant that is open, you aren't technically allowed to sit with somebody who you do not live with. So me and you, even though I love you, bro, we couldn't get down at Theo's spot over in Island Soul together. We'd have to do some takeout or something, according to the governor.
It's a big change. Well, Yakima County, the rest of the state of Washington was a recommendation, and Governor Inslee made a mandate in Yakima County, and I think that's what that mask, wearing the mask there at all times helped drive down the COVID rate.
Right. Not just there, but I mean, you look at other spots that have been able to actually implement that. I mean, I want to say some other countries. You look at Vietnam, Singapore. Those places basically don't. And you look at Cuba. They have had 0 infections in the last 125 days, and that's because they've had essentially this universal mandate that folks wear masks and protect each other. So it's looking like that's something that obviously needs to be implemented here at this point if we really want to flatten this curve.
Right. All right, so next up, and we just saw Chief Best at a press conference here. Did you see the press conference?
I saw a little bit of it earlier, yeah.
All right, well, Chief Best 2 days ago, she sent a letter to the city council, and she was basically like, look, we got some of it up here on the screen.
Right.
Let me.
She made it public. It could have just been between the folks, but yeah, she definitely made it public.
So she says here in this letter, under these circumstances, as created by the council, talking about how the city council's law with the banning.
The ordinance, banning the tear gas.
Right. We cannot manage demonstrations as we have in the past. I'm not allowed to lawfully equip officers with the tools they have been trained to use to protect community and themselves. She also says that they are, man, this is a long letter. For these reasons, SPD has an adjusted deployment in response to any demonstration this weekend. Didn't really outline exactly what the adjusted deployment was going to be. Right. During the press conference, though, she took off her mace, her pepper spray. It said, like all other officers, they're taking off their pepper spray and everything else. And then she also challenged the city council. So it's like, she challenged the city council here. She says, I believe the council can lead on de-escalation at each of these events through their voice and presence, encouraging peaceful demonstrations. So she was like, yo, city council, once you guys get out there in front of the demonstration, the protest, and talk.
Right. She also said, I will say in that letter that potentially that with some of the protests that happened on, last Tuesday and the day before that,
Sunday and Wednesday.
Yeah, the Sunday and Wednesday. Sorry, that potentially if we had been able to use these things, this might not have happened. And so I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to me in the fact that, look, are you telegraphing that things are going to get violent here? I mean, we know that these things have been, that for the most part, a lot of these protests have been peaceful.
Yeah, something else that she brought up in there is that, that for the most part, at least when I get out the letters, they're not going to respond to a lot of stuff. So,
right, it's almost like the police are protesting by the protest.
But what does that also mean, though? It's like, say you live like 1 block from the protest area, right? And there is something that's going down over there, but it's considered into this hot zone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What's the response from the police going to be?
Well, I'm saying this, does every response need to be met with tear gas? Isn't that only in the extremity of it?
Hey, Bobby, can we get the mask? It looks like we're going to have another tear gas discussion today. Well, I mean, believe me, I feel you as someone, you know what I'm saying, who, that tear gas is horrible.
Right.
I mean, it is horrible.
And we should note it is banned in international law.
Man, and what was scary, yeah, for me, I was just going through it, but what was scary was my mama was watching me live.
Yeah.
And I'm just
tens of thousands of people. Yeah.
You can't, you can't breathe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like yeah.
Well, and that's what I think people are trying to ask. Chief Best is like, okay, what is the proportionate response that requires tear gas versus what regular policing? And I think that, to me, from what I understand and from what I've read, I don't think there's been a satisfactory answer to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Well, I don't think they know. To be honest with you, I mean, and if they don't know, they should just say they don't know. You know,
Right.
like, man, you know, hey, we don't know. It's all good. It's on me. You got so.
Are you bringing props up in here today?
Well, Mayor Wheeler yesterday, 2 days ago, he got gassed down there. In Portland.
The Portland mayor. Yeah.
And so we told Mayor Wheeler that we'd be more than happy, you know what I'm saying, to send him the gas mask down there to Portland. You know, it's a dangerous space. But how do you see it playing out this weekend, man? You know, I know you have your ear to the street. You talk to a lot of people.
Right. I mean, I think for the most part, people see what's going on in terms of what may or may not be telegraphed by SPD. And so I think for the most part, people are going to largely trying to keep this thing peaceful. That being said, right, it only takes 1 or 2 incidents for things to get out of hand. So
I've been having some discussions here on Twitter. And some of the feedback that I'm getting is like, man, you know what? Some of these people might be new to you, as in my eyes, but these are people, some of the people are literally people who have now gotten out of the couch and into the streets, or you know what I'm saying, out of the windows into the streets. You hear that chant during the protest. So one that it's Seattle people. It's not people that are, from out of town or whatever.
No outside agitators.
The local people are now pushed to the point. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what's your view on that? Are you seeing that as well? And when you contrast that with some of the other protests that are going on that you might see in South Seattle?
Yeah, I also see that. I think that also is a function of the fact, right, that we are going in this COVID crisis where a lot of people, they don't necessarily have to get up and go to work the next day or have to, it isn't business as usual. And so they feel that they can be out here and get out in these streets, and they do have the time and opportunity to do so. And so I think it is just sort of this coalescence of things right now. Right,
but do you feel that the temperature level around what's going on has now risen to the point?
That it's intensified?
So what I'm saying is what people are saying, some people, of course, in the Twitter sphere is very big, is that, man, you know what? A good percentage, maybe not 100%, maybe not 50%, but somewhere in there, you know what I'm saying? Some people say the high 80s, 90s, that these are all the same people. You know what I'm saying? But it's intensified. The level, the pressure on the demands and everything else is now intensified. Are you feeling that, do you see the temperature around things intensifying here?
Absolutely. I mean, I think at this point, people are just fed up with the fact that people continue to use politicians specifically, use a lot of buzzwords and say a lot of pretty things, and it's just done. And it's like, okay, I'm tired of watching or listening to what you say. I want to now see what you do. And I think a lot of more people are trying to hold them to account for that.
All right. Well, and how do you think that Saturday's going to play out tomorrow? You going to be?
It's going to be a long day. I mean,
mask and a helmet as well? Your Bobby Steels are going to
I don't know about a mask and a helmet, but I'm definitely going to be masked up, I will say, certainly. I tell you, this morning was all, it was all hands on deck at the Emerald offices, getting folks to, coordinate coverage tomorrow. And so I told everybody to rest up to that.
How do you guys, I guess it's an interesting question, because, I've a lot of the people with the big news outlets here, you know what I'm saying, the local news outlets, their coverage is way limited. It's way down. And it's not because they don't want to cover it. It's, they're finding issues of safety and personal safety and this and that, or, and so that's why you see less coverage on the local news. And it isn't because they don't want to cover it. It's that, their companies won't necessarily let them dive head into the protest. How does the Emerald plan on covering the protest this weekend? I
mean, for the most part, our reporters are usually embedded, right there in there. I got my homegirl Elizabeth Turnbull.
So they're the ones that are. Your guys are the guys, huh?
Gail in this particular situation, shout out to Elizabeth Turnbull. As a matter of fact, I believe Real Change has an article coming out, featuring you and her and some other people who have been more embedded within the protest. So with us, it's. To me, that's why I think you talked about limited coverage, but I also think you just see very
it's diversity. Coverage. I think so I think what's happened as well is diversity of coverage. Because when I was listening the other day to let me pull it together.
I know
Dave Ross. No, Dave Ross and Hannah, and she like radio reporting. And I haven't listened to the radio in so long, but before they brought me on air, I heard her segment and she was like, okay, and then the protest went here. And then, you know what I'm saying? You could hear the whole audio of it. And so, you know, it very well might be that it's a different diversity in reporting around these protests as well, because, you know, the whole situation is it's definitely evolving in the way that media covers these things.
I mean, there's that, but I think you also still have the old school media who just listens to SPD and listens and reads the SPD report, you know, without questioning it, and it's like, oh, okay. And then you see certain verbiage in there, you know, looters and this and that we know can be code words for certain things.
It's a lot of code words.
Dog whistles, we might say.
Code words, dog whistles, embedded, man. It's a lot going on. So it says here, the sheriff, King County Council moves to reduce the power of the sheriff. Tell us all about it.
Yes. So currently, the King County Sheriff, unlike the Seattle Police Chief Best, is voted on by voters, not appointed. And so the Metropolitan King County on Thursday, they moved to get that position appointed. And so what they're going to do is they're going to send a ballot to King County residents to vote on in November, outlining the fact that, one, this will be a position that's appointed, and two, the position will sort of be outlined by the King County Council. So I'll be honest with you, I don't know how to feel about that, quite frankly.
Well, so let's dig a little deeper into that.
Yeah.
I mean, like Marcus said, the chief of police is appointed by the mayor. However, the sheriff is elected. Right. But that means that they're accountable to two different people. The sheriff is directly accountable to the electorate, to the citizens. The chief of police is directly accountable to the mayor. Right,
and in this particular proposal, the King County Sheriff would then be accountable to and subject and have jurisdiction vis-a-vis the King County Council, which I believe hasn't happened since, I think it's been a couple decades, I want to say.
Reichert, I think, was here. So, all right, how do you feel about that?
I'll be real with you, man. I mean, I don't necessarily like it. I mean, I understand it is a response, as some King County Council members have said, to the structural racism and so forth. I just think that it's better if that position is accountable more directly to the people than the King County Council, because it's all about who is appointing these people. Right.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it like this. If Chief Best was elected and not appointed, one thing for sure, we would know who ordered the closure of the East Precinct.
Exactly. I mean, that's just 100%.
But because she would be accountable to the voters. It's like, you know, I mean, the buck would stop with her, right? And so I only bring that up in the contrast with the sheriff, is that, like, you know, the sheriff right now is 100% accountable to the voters.
Right. And I'll say that doesn't necessarily mean that the sheriff has always been, quote unquote, progressive or whatever, but the thing is that you can always vote the sheriff out.
You can recall the sheriff.
Exactly. Which happened with Metzy's Sheriff Metzy, our current King County sheriff. That was what happened with her predecessor. Her predecessor had some issues that were going on, and people were like, "Nah, we're good. We're gonna go over here."
The power of the ballot, man. Let's see. Now, you talked about it. You touched on it a little bit earlier, but you talked about COVID in South King County. Let's dive back into that.
Yes. So Governor Inslee's people and folks over at King County Public Health, they have basically stated that they see South King County as potentially being another hotspot for the COVID-19 pandemic. What we've seen in the state is obviously a rise, similar to some other places, and we are trying our best, especially in areas with people of color, to make sure that we can do all we can to keep everybody safe and healthy. A part of that is obviously masking up. As you alluded to earlier, over in Yakima, they had a actual state mandate. You know, you all need to stop.
100%.
Yeah, and so here,
why do you
asking
think?
People to do
but why? So, but in Yakima though, I mean, people are like, yeah, COVID's high and everything, but a lot of people don't talk about why.
Right, exactly.
One of the big reasons why.
Well, one of the big reasons, right? I mean, a ton of essential workers, a ton of people who are right there on the front line, and in closed quarters.
It's essential workers, and more specifically farm workers, and those farm workers weren't being provided proper PPE or proper anything out there. And so
they were literally being sacrificed for a lot of these, companies and so forth.
Right, and so you saw a big spike in COVID. But in South King County, that's not quite the situation. There's not farm workers.
There aren't farm workers, but we do have a lot of people who can't necessarily work remotely. If you look at studies, folks who are black, folks who are Latino, they are 6 times more likely to have to actually show up for work than work remotely. I mean, I think we brought this up.
Yeah.
In the
I mean,
show
only
once.
19% of black people in America got a job they can work from home.
Right. And so you look at this area.
So hold on. So
County.
I think that. So what are you saying? At least in my mind, the way the dots are connecting, is that people who are essential workers live south of the city in South King County. Those are the people who are going to work every day. And because of that, that's where you see a COVID spike in South King County.
Exactly. It tracks with the zip code. It tracks with people who are, one, less affluent, and two, don't have as many opportunities as other areas of the city.
So if you don't know the answer to this next question, it's okay, because it's South Seattle Emerald and not, regional Emerald.
We are expanding now.
Okay. God bless you. But it would be interesting to see them. Where do the essential workers live in Pierce County and in Snohomish County, like right outside of Everett and right outside of Tacoma and right outside of Everett? Are they also seeing a spike in COVID? Is this an essential worker?
I have not seen those official numbers. I will say it would not be surprising, and I know for a while it was tracking that Snohomish County were having increased cases, and so it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case.
Wow. All right. What else you got going on?
Man, just trying to catch some sleep before tomorrow morning, brother, because it's going to be all on tomorrow. And hey, I know you're a Mariners fan. God bless you. But let's keep it real, bro. Don't get your heart up for that season. It might be 60 games that they probably going to still be below 400. I'm just going to be real with you.
See, I'm going to tell you like this, man. You sound like a man who's never been in love. Because
I have, man. I've had my heart broken too many times, bro.
Because when you
it ain't gonna happen again.
when you love somebody, you love something. I love the Mariners. I know, and every year, man. You know what I'm saying,
bro? That's a one-sided relationship. You in a one-sided relationship, bro.
Oh,
okay,
man.
break it. I didn't have this.
So they already told me to go to therapy about protest PTSD. Now I got to go to
bro,
my one-sided relationship.
Me and my dad was there when they broke the AL record for victories. He was like, they're going to the World Series. What happened? Yankees went ahead and did them up.
I'll be honest with you though, man. My love from the Mariners doesn't really come from wins and losses. My love from the Mariners come from when I was a kid, man. Like Alvin Davis. Those guys used to come up to the Central District, and we could never afford to go see the Mariners.
Right.
And Alvin Davis would come and give baseball tickets, man, and we go there to the Kingdome and see this big, huge Kingdome there. Back in the days, even Gaylord Perry and all these guys. I think it was the love that the Mariners and Alvin Davis extended when I was a little kid that's never left me. So, you know what I'm saying? For me, and that's the kind of love that you have when you love a team. You might win, you might lose, but man, I always love the Mariners.
Bro, you got to move on from that nostalgia. I'm going to keep it real.
I'm a nostalgic guy.
You got love for the Mariners. I got love for my Storm. I know they're in the bubble this year down in Orlando. Much love to them. I wanted to bring back the chip. They have much higher likelihood of winning than the Mariners.
I got a question for you then. Are you going to be a diehard crackhead?
Bro, I don't do hockey, man. All right, so let's just keep it real.
No, man, you got, they're doing an outreach program. They're trying to get brothers like you out there, man.
I know. I've, as a publisher, I've heard from their media department.
So you already better than us. We ain't heard nothing from the crackheads. And believe me, it's lots of crackheads around here. You know what I'm saying? They're all ready to go.
They obviously didn't do enough research to go come up with that name. I gotta say. So.
Yeah, hey, so look, we're gonna get ready to get out of here. Marcus Harrison Green. Once again, thanks for joining us. Be safe this weekend, man. You know what I'm saying?
You do the same, man. And seriously, brother, my mother told me to tell you this. Practice some self-care, because she's like, I didn't see that boy over there every day. He over there 24/7 tweeting and everything. Tell him to get some sleep. So tell your mama. I always listen to Big Mama and them. I don't listen to these guys, but Big Mama and them telling me to get some rest, I'm gonna go get some rest. All right.
Appreciate it. Hey, we'll be right back with the Morning Update Show.
There's a lot going on. Are you ready? Ready to feel better, look better, be better? Drink water. Be ready for a pickup game. Insta-frame to work hard towards your aim? Drink water. Hydrate. Hydrate to invest in yourself. Cut down on sugar. Invest in your health. Imagine the possibilities and reach your potential. Who knows what's next? Be ready. Be hydrated.
Well, welcome back to the Morning Update show right here. We're bringing in one of my favorite pieces of the day. Oh, I'm really excited, man. That was a great segment you just had with Marcus too, by the way. It's always good to have Marcus here on Fridays, man.
Yeah, you know, Marcus brings the extra bounce to the ounce.
Yeah.
So to speak, man. But he hating on my Mariners.
Right.
Man. I mean, that's what sports is. Sports is nostalgia. You know what I'm saying? That's how you don't become a fair weather fan. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you gotta stay with your crew.
Man, you can't follow the winds, man. You know what I'm saying? We used to call that heart back in the day, baby.
You gotta have some heart.
Yeah,
you gotta have some heart. You know, I mean, but you know, I don't know what the Mariners are at right now, and I'm sure maybe we could find out, reach out to them and see what's going on. But the Mariners, I mean, you got to think about it. Decades later, I'm a lifelong Mariners fan because of the outreach of Alvin Davis and the Seattle Mariners when I was a kid up there at CAY, and I'm a lifelong fan. It'd be interesting to see like what kind of outreach the Mariners are still doing. You know what I'm saying, in our community and across baseball as a whole. You know what I'm saying. Their operations are limited this year, so maybe that's an opportunity for them to kind of put a deep dive into how they can continue to connect with the community. You got guys like Buki Gates in them with Trae baseball.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Buki Gates, another Garfield grad.
Garfield grad, that's true.
Absolutely.
Let's see what the whip got up for us next here, Chief. All right. Oh, so Pike Place Market, huh? That's our next clip. So this was pretty dope. We got a call from a fan of the show and a supporter. I'd even say more of a supporter than a fan, but definitely a supporter and a viewer, and got invited down to Pike Place Market yesterday to pick up some fish, some seafood. I made the mistake of bringing Bobby Stills with me, and so Bobby knows all the best. Say like it was probably just supposed to be me, and I would be like, man, I'll just take one of these and one of those or something. But I brought Bobby Stills with me, and he's a professional chef, plus he manages gas masks. He does it all. And we ended up getting a lot of seafood, more than I expected or them. But anyways, here's a clip from yesterday down at Pike Place Market.
You want king crab too? I like snow crab, but
I'm a personal fan of the snow crab. That's my favorite. Some of this I'm gonna write up for me.
Okay, you want to just do a total?
Front piece on your left. And you can see how big it is if that's enough for you. We'll weigh it up.
That's good for the team. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Hi guys, my name's Hillary. I work at Pike Place Fish Market in the Seattle Pike Place Public Market, and we are still here selling the world's most sustainable fresh seafood. We want you guys to come down so we can take care of you, and if you can't do that, we do ship locally and anywhere in the United States overnight via FedEx.
Me, I'm just here for the fish.
So you see, I keep it real, like, man. I'm just here for the fish. You know what I'm saying? And that was Hillary at Pike Place Fish Market. Really, want to thank her for reaching out. People invite, man. I try to show, especially when it's involving food.
Come on now.
But a big thing is especially now considering what's going on with Governor Inslee and rollbacks and everything. But they ship everywhere.
Yep, rollback.
So locally and internationally, everything else. My mom used to take us to the Pike Place Market when we were kids because it was always a lot to do there. You know what I'm saying? I guess you could probably tire your kids out, Pike Place Market. So it was good to return there. And big shout out to Hillary and her team over there at Pike Place Fish Market.
You gotta love that kind of community engagement. You know, I love that when it meets in the real world, right? It's like somebody who is watching this show is like, hey man, you know, we wanna show our support by having you guys come down, grab some fish, and then to be able to give that message out there, hey, we're still open. You know what I'm saying? We're still open, we're still shipping around the world. You know, hey, there's still a way to support local businesses, and that's what I love.
Right, and when we talk about local businesses, community businesses, there's been a few before all of this, and even during all of this, that we were able to highlight and spotlight. And I think we'll probably get back to that. I know Trae Lamont had reached out over at the Jerk Shack. Chef Trae Lamont, Garfield High School graduate.
Another Garfield
Bulldogs.
You know it.
What are some other shops up there in maybe the Central District South End?
Well, I'm really excited because when you talk about food, man, that's one of the things that our planning team at King County Equity Now, we know well, man, planning at all hours of the night. And so we order a lot of food, man. And so shout out to, Taste of Caribbean up there,
Well, let's do it right.
Yeah,
Taste of the Caribbean. What's that? 12th and
12th
Jefferson?
and Jefferson, yes,
okay.
Absolutely. They're still doing orders right now. You can call them in and go pick up orders. So shout out to them. Med Mix, right there on Jackson.
23rd and Jackson.
Yep,
or
22nd and Jackson.
22nd and Jackson.
They're open still. You can go there. Obviously, a lot of these shops are closed for in dining, in-person dining.
They're still in the kitchen.
Yeah, they're still in the kitchen, man, cooking and whipping in the pot, man. So go, and also shout out to our international district businesses, man. I went and visited my guy Eric at Jade Garden yesterday. They're seeing a lot of decline. And so he's like, man, as other businesses are opening or, the competition is real. So I just think that businesses throughout our county, man, they're struggling. And I think anytime you can, man, look out a local business. Call them up, order some food, go support, man. That's one of the things I love to do. Shout out to all the businesses, man.
Right, and and it might take a little bit more effort on your end. Some of the small businesses and restaurants, in our community, they might not be all plugged in on all the different delivery platforms and things like that. But man, it's worth you going the extra mile. You'll probably save them a few dollars. You know what I'm saying, and yourself if you're able to pick it up or whatever. But make it let's just say be intentional. Let's be intentional about intentional about supporting our local small businesses, restaurants. And
yeah,
things.
And that's one of the things for us over at Africatown Community Land Trust. We're working to reopen our COVID fund again. Because we want to inject that cash into the community. Shout out to the Seattle Foundation for understanding the need in community, and so we're excited to start opening up our fund again to give business grants and renter assistance grants and homeowner grants to people, so that they can stay supported throughout this time in COVID, man. It's definitely taking its toll on financials for many households, man.
Yeah, I mean, the governor talked about extending moratoriums and things like that, but the rent still due. The rent hasn't been forgiven for people. The rent is still due. And, we talk about like a rent catastrophe on the horizon with a lot of people. Yeah,
I've been saying it from day one. When we were reporting from our other studio, Studio B, I was literally saying, wait a minute, if people's rents are piling up, and then the people that need to pay, the landlords aren't getting it, the actual homeowners aren't getting it, why isn't there just an overall freeze for everyone? The finances are being hurt every sector. So it's time for us to do something that is major and not these minor fixes. They feel like Band-Aids though. And unfortunately, that Band-Aid is gonna fall off when we see this stuff come down in the end of the day. So I'm really hoping that throughout this next phase, Governor Inslee, others in official capacity, that they can think about what do we need to do to be sure that most of our folks are okay, or a majority of our people are okay? And I think it needs to be freezes across the board.
All right, and so you're over at the Africatown Community Land Trust. You touched on it here briefly. I give you an opportunity to bring it up again. What services or relief are you offering for the community?
So that's the thing. We understood right away in the beginning when a lot of philanthropy was going into organizations to support COVID funding and COVID response and all of that. We got money from the Seattle Foundation, and immediately we said we need to figure out how to get this into households. And so we opened up our COVID fund that is a $1,000 grant for businesses, and then $500 housing grants for homeowners and renters. And so they can log on to africatownlandtrust.org and click on Get Help if you need it. And if you have additional funds and you want to support a business or a homeowner or renter, you can give help and actually donate to the fund. So that's one of the responses that we're doing. We're excited to be launching that again and bringing up the opportunity for folks to apply and get some type of financial relief.
Well, that's good. I mean, you know, it's solutions from community. We talked about that the other day, you know what I'm saying? And that, before we go into our Melanin magic here, any other words about community and things? It's Friday here.
Yeah, it's definitely Friday. As you guys have been talking, you and Marcus, clearly the protest happening this weekend. I know that there's a lot of healing that folks are looking to do in our community. And, you know, for the planning committee for King County Equity Now, we're literally looking at doing that for Umoja, which is going to be August 1st. So this weekend we'll be taking a break. I think there'll be a lot of energy right here at Cal Anderson Park.
Believe
There's a lot of people that'll be right here.
It's going to keep moving.
Exactly. And then, you know, next weekend we really want to bring in the healing, you know, uplift our artistry right here. I'm so excited to be bringing in some.
Where's that going to happen? August 1st?
So August 1st, that's going to be at Jimi Hendrix Park. We're going to do a parade style march from 23rd and Union, and we're going to end at Jimi Hendrix Park. So excited to bring, you know, some energy into the city.
So is this now, because people used to go into Umoja Fest,
yes,
a three-day festival of African and African American culture, 70 years old. It's over 7 decades old, Umoja Fest. And, you know, I guess all the Seafair festivals are hit this year. So, you know, like Seattle is culturally is impacted all over the city, because that's what Seafair is about, is celebrating all the different cultures. But in the Central District, the Umoja Fest, not so much this year.
Yeah. So that's the thing, is that we understand we can't have that type of gathering, right? We can't get permits. We can't do our 3-day event. Normally, Umoja Fest has 3 different stages right there at Junkins Park.
That's a big deal.
It is the longest and largest Black festival in the Pacific Northwest. And honestly, this year we said we have to do something in the spirit of Umoja. So this year it is a 1-day, you know, protest and march and rally where we're coming together again under the spirit of unity, and it is Umoja Presents, you know, this day of unity. So I'm really excited to bring that to our community, and, you know, I can't wait for next Saturday.
You only got one question. Is there gonna be some food?
You know it, baby. You know it. Just like every Umoja, man. We have, again, in the spirit of Umoja, we have got to make sure we have our food vendors on deck.
All right. We'll keep it pushing. So, you know, this used to be a real big deal. We're getting back to it. We're figuring it out. Yes. But we used to do our Melanin magic. You know what I'm saying? That was a staple of our show every single day. But, you know, we're working it out. But it's Feel Good Friday, so we're rolling a Feel Good Friday and a Melanin magic all into one. Want to make sure I get this right here. This is Northwest Tap, right?
Yes, Northwest Tap Connection. Definitely a community staple. Shout out to Miss Melba and her team over there of amazing choreographers, amazing young people. I love their program. I've been rocking with Northwest Tap for many years.
With the best,
for many years. My goddaughter's there. Shout out to you, Brooklyn and Tiara. So they really do provide.
They really tap dance.
They really tap dance, man. Tap. And let me tell you, they provide a robust dance program for people in the urban area of the Central District. That's where a lot of their beginnings happened. I think back to my girl Ebony Cross, you know, who was one of the tap dancers there. I mean, years ago. Northwest Tap has really been a staple in our community, and now they're situated in the South End over by Rainier Beach. You know, they have their own building now, just growing, and it's amazing to watch them. So I'm excited that we have them today.
What I see here is that Northwest Tap is having a fundraiser, and they're $10,700 short of their goal. And so their goal is, do we have some footage of these fantastic tap dancers?
Yes.
name. Say his name. Won't you say his name?
Freddie Gray, say his name. Freddie Gray, say his name. Freddie Gray, say his name. Freddie Gray, won't you say his name? Ayanna Jones, say a name. Ayanna Jones, say a name. Ayanna Jones, say a name. Ayanna Jones, won't you say a name? Sandra Bland, say a name. Sandra Bland, say a name. Sandra Bland, say a name. Sandra Bland, won't you say a name? Say a name. 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 Won't you say a name?
Kimani Gray, say his name. Kimani Gray, say his name. Kimani Gray, say his name. Kimani Gray, won't you say his name? John Crawford, say his name. John Crawford, say his name. John Crawford, say his name. John Crawford, won't you say his name? Michael Brown, say his name. Michael Brown, say his name. Michael Brown, say his name. Michael Brown, won't you say his name? Say his name. 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 Won't you say his name?
Miriam Carey, say her name. 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 Sharonda Singleton, say her name. Sharonda Singleton, say her name. Sharonda Singleton, say her name. Say her name. Say her name. Emmett Till, 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 say her name. Say his 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 name. What's your say his name?
Tommy Yancey, say his name. 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 Jordan Baker, say his name. Jordan Baker, say his name. Jordan Baker, say his name. Say his name, won't you say his name? I'ma $1,000, say his name. I'ma do the dollar, say his name. I'ma do the dollar, say his name. I'ma do the dollar, say his name. 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 Won't you say his name?
You know, I could do all that probably 100 pounds ago.
Was you ready?
I was ready then, man. Woo.
Shout out
Man,
to
I'm
all
tired
of it,
watching
man.
them.
I know they were killing it, and it's so amazing to see. I know that video is a few years old, and to see some of those young folks, because I've watched them grow at Northwest Tap. Let me tell you, man, that's real community love right there.
And these guys, so like I said, their Northwest Tap is They had an ambitious goal. I think about $75,000. They're $10,700 short. You can visit if you want to donate, nwtapconnection.org, nwtapconnection.org. You know, they were saying that Daryl used to tap dance.
Uh-oh, not our own DQ, man.
Is Daryl out here on set?
Where are you at, DQ?
Hey, Daryl, we got time for this, oh yeah? Okay. Come on. What kind of moves you got, Daryl?
Rusty.
Rusty. Okay.
Hey! Watch out!
Yeah! There he is. Daryl's already standing, so we're going to stand with you, bro.
I love it, man.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you for joining us this week. These camera guys are everywhere. Thank you for joining us this week, man. It's like Trae said in the beginning, it's been a lot of ups and downs here. I guess that's life, though. Check us out next Monday, 11 a.m. for the morning update show. If by chance it gets funky this weekend, then you know you can count on us to go live. I once again want to thank everybody for your continued support at Converge. Thank you for helping us grow, for being supportive, listening. Thank you to Daryl. People talk about day one. This guy day one with us right here on the morning show. You can always visit our website, www.whereweconverge.com. And on behalf of my esteemed colleagues here, have a wonderful weekend. Peace.
Lift every voice and sing till earth in heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day.